Roger Federer. You came into Wimbledon 2012. You've made it through first stage, second stage, third stage, fourth stage, quarterfinals. Now you're in the semifinals. Did I get that right? Did I skip a stage there? Or did I add in an extra one? I always kind of get confused between the fourth stage and the quarterfinals. So I don't know if I just messed up there. But you know what? Once again, congratulations. You know, your approach from the way you were coming into your matches in Roland Garros and the way that you're coming into your matches at Wimbledon are just it's been a complete shift, and I'm sure that you've been excited to see how far you can go. Just checking in, just engaging that mental resolve and power that you've had. So it's going to be a terrific match tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to you pulling that match out. And I know you can do it. I know you definitely can do it. I feel like in this platform, you've played Djokovic, and even in platforms where you haven't been on fully mentally, you've been able to bring yourself to the point to either beat him or to be in a very good position to take the win. So it's very interesting. I saw an article yesterday that a guy interviewed you, a writer interviewed you like back in Madrid or whatever, but it was an article in the New Yorker magazine. It was a very well detailed article, and you were actually talking about how I think between last year and this year you were really sort of evaluating, like, why am I losing these matches? Like, how did this happen? And again, I feel like it feels like to me that, I know you're a person who sits down and prepares. You know what I mean? I know you do your research. Like, I don't feel like you're, like, half-stepping in that area, but I feel like you look at things and you get them in your head. I guess you do all the research that you feel is necessary, and you do it completely and thoroughly, and then you have that in your head and you just go into a match. And I just feel like, even though this may seem kind of boring to you, like, I feel like what's happening, and I could be wrong, and massively wrong, but, let's just take it as a grain of salt if I am massively wrong. But I think it's about introducing just a little more structure, strategic structure into your matches. Like, you need sort of like a backup plan, because I feel like from what you said about, playing from point to point, sounds boring. I feel like maybe some part of you feels like that's boring, and I could understand that, really. I'm not, when I hear you say that, I'm not like, ugh, I'm not like that, but, I'm to the point where that reveals to me that, you're really in your element and love for tennis. Like, for you, tennis is being able to get on the court and freely express yourself and just, be able to be in that element, and not too much thinking, And I saw something a long time ago where you said initially you had to learn how to sort of dumb down, not dumb down, but you said something like, I needed to, like, stop having so much thinking incorporated into the match. And obviously that has worked for you very well throughout your career, but this is a different part of your career, and so there are some changes. I think just a little more strategic structure in your matches would be great. Like, what I was talking about the other day, in my other video. Look, I'm really going to fight to try to keep this video short so you can have time to look at the links and the stuff that I'm going to post. First thing I want to suggest is that you go back to that long video that I made the other day. It's like 50 minutes long, and I felt like I've just really talked about some questions that might just get you thinking a little bit more about strategic structure, but unfortunately I can't repeat them in this video today. But yeah, I think strategic structure, like, really sort of looking like, how do you want to take this first set? Like, you should, for me, it's kind of like, you should be getting in there and going for everything, like, taking the first set. Because if you don't take the first set, then it's just like, again, what I said in a video the other day, it's kind of like you're out to sea, you know, trying to get back to shore, and the other person is just in control, and you're kind of just waiting out in the sea, figuring out which way this match is going to go. And then, you know, it's kind of like, now you've got to do it in four, and then, you know, the other person's probably, this is them having the other set is giving them a little more momentum, so now you've, you know, momentum and more, you know, fight against you, and so now you've got to do it in five. And then, you know, you just find yourself in these hard pressed just situations that I feel are not even necessary fully. So I just feel, again, introducing a little more strategic structure. You could tell I'm like struggling to be focused here right now. Strategic structure, I think, you know, as I mentioned in my other video, is like, when you get into, like, in the first set, you know what I mean? Like, just making sure, obviously, the obvious things, like holding your serve, you know, like really holding your serve like a madman. Holding your serve and really getting, obviously, the break, like in the sixth game, you know. Yeah, like in the sixth game, just going for it, grabbing it there, and then maybe again, like in the 10th game or whatever, you know, just really grabbing it. And holding your serve like a madman, you know, and yeah, just going from there. But right now I'm really fighting because I'm about to turn this video off because I'm unhappy with the way it's going right now. So I'm like losing intensity here myself. But let me just go through this. Like, let me just jump to something else that might help me save myself from just deleting this video right now. Have you taken the approach of defeating yourself, like how to beat Roger Federer? You know, have you ever just sat down and said, how do I beat Roger Federer? You know, like, let's just talk about just a little bit. How does one beat Roger Federer? Well, from what I'm not a tennis expert, as you already know, so some things might sound a little weird or whatever, or if something's off or I've made some crazy mistake, just take it as a grain of salt and disregard it. But, you know, really, if I say something is valid and you feel like, or I say something and you feel like it's kind of like, no, you know, like, go past that resistance and look into it even more. You know, like, even though I don't agree with it, let me just look at that a little bit more, like, do something like that. So how does one really beat Roger Federer? Well, typically, as we know, a lot of people like to serve to your backhand to try to get cheap points, and I will post a video link to someone else who made that point as well, and also showed how Beneteau the other day was able to save, I think, 3 break points by just serving to your backhand. So it's really important to really look at that. And we already know how Rafa just always completely exploits that. Even though Rafa isn't in this match or whatever, I can't let go of Rafa, because I think he's the one who just really proves it to everyone else. Like, that's their little get out of jail card. You know what I mean? When I'm in trouble with Federer, how can I do something to dig myself out really quickly? Woo! Serves his backhand! Yay! You know what I mean? So you gotta look at, how do we beat Roger Federer? I'm going to freaking serve to his backhand, because if I serve to his backhand, he's going to make a mistake. He's going to make some kind of error. You know what I mean? Also, I noticed something that that same journalist I was talking about, who wrote the article in the New Yorker magazine, said that Tsonga said that you don't like to move back from the baseline or anything like that. Like, Nadal is always back there or whatever, but there's a certain, and I really apologize that I'm like all over the place, but this is the best I can do right now, and I really just want to get this out here, and you can just take what you need. There's a certain conformity that you have as a player that, you know, if I were going to say, how do I beat Roger Federer, like, there's a certain unwillingness to change that you have, you know, and I'm saying this with, you know, from the most loving place, so you can look at, there's a certain unwillingness you have to change towards certain things. There's a certain unwillingness you have to adapt. It takes you a long time, though, to amend certain things and change. It took you a long time to get a coach. Like, a lot of people, we really like, when is he going to get a coach? Like, so, you know, like, it just took a really long time for you to do that. And it, you know, and then now it's like this backhand thing. I look at forums talking from 2007, the same type of issues with how people are exploiting their backhand. It's 2012 now. This is 5 years this has been going on. And do you know, like, had you even been able to come to even just amend certain bits of that, or come up with certain strategies to deal with people exploiting your backhand, you probably would have had 5 extra Grand Slams by now. I don't give a what anybody else says. You'd have had like 5 extra. You'd have been at 21 at the least. 21 Grand Slams, Roger. 21. So anyway, never mind that. You know, like, I really shouldn't go into that. Never mind that. But what I'm saying is that people are exploiting your backhand. This is how they end up turning these matches out, and then you're like kind of confused, like, how the hell did that match get away from me? Like, I was ahead. How the hell did that match get away from me? You know, that type of thing. So, you know, I would count, you know, beating Roger Federer, I would count on his unwillingness to conform to certain things, you know, like not wanting to move back from the baseline sometimes, like just staying in there. And I'm, you know, coming back to who Roger Federer is, maybe that isn't the answer for you, to just change up a whole bunch of things, but just understand where other people are coming from and how they're counting on your unwillingness not to conform as a plus for them. So, yeah, that's another thing. So, yeah, it's just anybody and their mama, I'm sorry to say, like, has been coming in and knows basically, you know, if they're in trouble, they're going to start serving to your backhand. Because it's, again, like someone else said online, it's not that your backhand sucks or anything. It's just that it's better than going to that forehand, you know? It's better. So that's how I'm going to beat Roger Federer. The other way I'm going to beat Roger Federer is I'm going to count on the fact Roger Federer is not like, it's widely believed Roger Federer does not like to run around. Now, that's easy to say for most people, probably. Like, I would think an average person would not like to run all over the court. Like, that's like a valid thing. But Roger Federer does not like to run around, and I've seen that more in more than one place online, and more than one person commenting saying that. So I'm gonna try to run Roger Federer around. Then I'm gonna go into my own personal assessment, which is when I have Roger Federer on the run, I get him at his most docile. And it's not to say that Roger Federer is weak, but it's like if you go from the spectrum of black to white, maybe, that's what comes to my mind. Kind of like the font colors when you're typing on a computer and you're choosing a font, and there's all these different shades from black to dark gray or smoky gray, dark gray, a lighter gray, lightest gray, then you go into the whites or whatever. Like, I see when I have Roger Federer on the run, I feel like he's in the lighter shade of gray. Like, he's not fully black. He's not fully into, you know, why did, like, suddenly, oh, never mind. I won't even say it. Oh, Jesus. He's not fully intense. So let's just talk about intensity. You know, he's not fully, like, in his fullest presence when I have him on the run. And that's what I feel like a lot of times when people have you on the run, like, your strategy, Roger, is just get the ball back, get the ball back, get the ball back, get the ball back. As long as I get my hands on the ball. And that's great and all, but it does not work. You know what I mean? I think that's really an important place. Overall, most times it doesn't work. You know, as a go for broke, if you have no other choice than just, you know, getting the ball back sometimes, you know, that's okay. Like, let me just get it back and hope for the best. You know, but for the most part, when people have you on a run, you're just getting the ball back. And I'm not saying this in disregarding you, like, oh my gosh, you're just flicking it any old way. So I just really don't want to make it seem extreme or overly critical, you know, or something like that. But, you know, anyway, listen, I put the link. I'm gonna put a link into Ryan Harrison's game against Djokovic, and I thought that there were a couple of places where young Ryan Harrison actually turned his disadvantage into an offense. Like, Djokovic had him on the run, and Ryan, by just hitting like hugely angled balls deep or whatever, if that makes any real sense to you. And Ryan Harrison was able to really turn that into an offense and pull out the point. So, you know, I'm gonna post a link to that. But yeah, how do I want to beat Roger Federer? You know, those are some of the things. And then, you know, right now I feel like Roger Federer is playing mentally strong, but I feel like you know, he can get there's a little bit of lack of intensity over 5 sets, and that's a lot. You know, sometimes it could be like in an intense match with the more highly talented players that get into a fifth set could kind of, you know, a little bit of the mental intensity or whatever, or purpose or deliberate, you know, like there's no necessarily deliberate strategy there, and that's why I think it makes it easy for the mind to kind of start checking out, for the match to kind of once again like go away from you, and you kind of wonder like, how the hell did that match get away from me? You know, it's like you're kind of out to sea again, instead of like putting in some sort of strategy, like I know I'm coming back in and out of purpose, but instead of putting in some sort of strategy, like, you know, okay, what am I gonna do? You know, like, what's my get out of jail button with Djokovic? You know, is it pulling him to the net and causing him to hit volleys? I mean, I don't know, and maybe some of that stuff doesn't even make sense, like causing him to hit volleys. I don't even know if that really makes any sense. But I see that Djokovic, you know, I don't know if Djokovic has improved on this, but that some of his volleying could be a little off sometimes. You know, bringing him up to net is also a really kind of good thing. Not letting him hang out at the baseline, you know, breaking down that forehand type of deal as best as possible and stuff like that. And I'm gonna put a link to the match against Djokovic and Monfils at Cincy 2011, and Monfils, as much as I, you know, went off on him the other day, like, he was able to really take a really nice first set off of Djokovic in typical Monfils fashion. You know, it's kind of like that star that burns out. It's like really intense at first and then just dies out in just massively reckless fashion. So, you know, maybe that's not nice to say, but I think the reason why I could talk like that is because I know that Monfils has so much more potential. He's just such a just really gross waste of that potential, which is why I'm talking about that situation like that, because he's so well capable of other stuff. But anyway, this is all about you, so just take a look at that match. Really just see like how Monfils was able to utilize coming to the net a lot. And I know you're already doing a lot of this stuff, but I think it would be some good stuff. And these matches, all of these links that I'm posting up are about 8 minutes long, I believe, each one of them, or anywhere between 8 and 15 minutes long. So I think it's worth it to really just see the highlights of each of those matches and be able to just go, okay, what am I going to do to turn my defense to offense when people put me on the run? That's you, Roger Federer. You know, Ryan Harrison, I think, gives a good example. And you're going to see these shots and be like, I know this. You know what I mean? But it's all about, again, how you process it. It's about not going out there just playing tennis. It's really about having just a little more strategic structure. You know, what am I going to do in the first set? When am I going to turn it on in the first set? How am I going to suppress his game when he decides he wants to turn it on? So the Monfils thing, I think the Monfils video will help you figure out how to disable Djokovic a little bit more. You already know how to disable him, but I'm just saying, like, use this stuff to just have something quick in your mind, like a get out of jail free type of card, or to get ahead, turn on the turbo boost and get yourself ahead in the first set or whatever, rather than just honestly sitting there and fighting it out, even though, you're the best player. I think, who takes on Djokovic. I think many people believe that, so I really don't want to sit here and make it seem like I'm offending you. I'm just trying to show up for the best way as a fan, like I've promised myself to do. And then if it's all wrong, you could just disregard it. But yeah, the Monfils thing I think will help you with that. How to turn your defense into offense. The Ryan Harrison video I think will be a good way. A couple things to see. That he did, and you will already know, but it'll just be like easy check marks in your mind where it's like, oh yeah, I'm on the run, okay, let me send a shot over here or whatever, and actually get the point, because it's important again, and like I said in my last video, it's kind of like Djokovic and Nadal, between the time they've been winning and losing between each other, have been saying the same thing. They just say, oh, like I said in my last video, oh, usually it's like a win. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. It's a matter of just a few points. And it's true. So I think what you should be focusing on, like, especially with a player like Djokovic, who's going to be used to being in the trenches, who really personally loves the fight, loves the odds to be against him so that he can have something to overcome, is just really making micro changes in your game. Like closing down, figure out, first of all, you can do this. Sit down and figure out, how do I beat Roger Federer? That's really what you should be doing. And look at all of Roger Federer's weaknesses. Like, how am I going to just disarm Roger Federer? How am I going to fold his game? That type of thing. And then from there, you should really be making decisions like, okay, well, what am I going to do? What does Djokovic not like to do? What is Djokovic uncomfortable to do? What is Djokovic reluctant to do? What is Djokovic's weakness? How does Djokovic get thrown off? So take a look at those videos, and then you can put that together and figure out, grab what really works, and then just do like a power punch. Get your break of serve. Get your break of serve like in a 6th game, and then hold your serve like a madman through the rest of the match, and through the rest of the set. And how you're gonna do that is, I think, looking at some of Monfils's tactics, but you will definitely take it more far. Unlike Monfils, you will. Oh my God, let me stop with the hostility against Monfils. I'm very hostile right now. Let me stop that. But you'll be able to do that. And then there's another video I had too. I can't remember which one it is. Let me see something real quick. Sorry. Let me see what's the other video. Oh, Tsonga versus Djoker. Okay, Montreal 2011. Alright, so here, yeah, some people feel volleys are a relative weakness in Djokovic's game, but he doesn't need to use them much, so maybe that doesn't even necessarily matter. Off-pace shots. Mid-court slice, pulling Djoker in. His volleys are the weakest of his repertoire. He got passed many times by Nadal. That's another comment. Yeah, and that seems like something that could be exploited. Yep. And then here's another comment. Djoker's weaknesses: volley and transition to the net. USO final, he looked a bit lost on some of the approach shots. Went cross court on a few. Left the court open. He did some really good volleys, but I still think his volleys are 20 to 30% lower in quality when compared to ground game. Also, serves very good this year, but still not great. In other words, serves more like Agassi rather than Sampras or Federer. I feel that Djoker has great passing shots, and if you attack him, it's better to be a good approach. Now, I don't know if this is all right and stuff like this, but I do know this is a lot of the consensus of what I've seen, and I've done. I've looked at a lot of stuff lately as well, and I'll try to post another link to another article, and maybe if you have time to look at it. I mean, I'm sure you know all of this stuff, but it's just about taking it strategically and just having it feed your own game plan. Like, again, how am I going to come in the match? How am I going to break him? How am I going to keep my points? you know, or whatever. And then you could, again, look at these videos and see different ways to, like, remember, boom, oh, yeah, let me do that Monfils thing, let me get him, pull him up to net, let me do this, blah. Or, you know, he has me on the run, let me do this Ryan Harrison, sort of thing. And it's not to say do what these other players do, because they probably have taken all these plays from you anyway. It's just about everybody reminding everybody when to use what, when. You know, it's about when to use what, when. And you use it at the right time, you're going to keep, you know, your points going and stuff like that. And I think just run the race and keep Djoker down, you know, because, you know, like I said, for me, Djoker seems like, you know, and I like Djoker. More as the years go by, as you can see, I really like Djoker. But for me, he really strikes me as the kid who didn't fit in. The kid who didn't fit in for whatever reason. Probably the kids he were around were a bunch of jerks. You know what I mean? But he never fit in. You know what I mean? He seems like that kid who never fit in, is always out to prove the world, like, yeah, mother freakers, I won! Ah! You know, like, he's always doing all of that, like, screw y'all! You know, like, he really has something to prove, like, there's a lot of suppressed frustration, and, you know, so it seems like, that's what that seems like to me, so he can get, you know, a whole crowd of people being against him, like, those are the type of things that he, for me, loved, like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna show the world, I'm gonna show you, you know, that type of thing, so, just watch out for that as well. Like, there's no need to, like, flip that switch, if you know what I mean. No need to flip that switch, or just keep your game going. And, you know, mentally as well, should I say this? And I really maybe shouldn't say it. Maybe it's not nice, but I'll just say it anyway. But I suspect that I really just don't feel like you like Djokovic. At the end of the day, I just don't think you... I think you find him disagreeable. I mean, but I don't know. Is that really nice to sit up there and tell somebody what they think about somebody else? I only say this to say, like, if he's getting desperate and acting in a disagreeable way on the court and stuff like that, just be aware, be careful not to judge it, because it's just going to really take up a lot more of your mental ground. Like, you need to not be in a place where you find his behavior disagreeable, and that's like taking up real estate in your head. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. That might, to some people, seem like a useless thing to say, but every little micro thing counts. You know, every little micro thing counts. You need to be 100% clear so you can take the points that you need. Yeah, so... I mean, this video is, like, really bust. I mean, I did all of this, like, you know, like, looking at stuff for the last couple of days. I just knew I was going to do, like, a really organized video for once, and this just ain't it. Yeah, so, yeah, right, so that's it again, you know, just figuring out your own strategy, coming in with a little bit more structure, you know how to beat Djokovic, you know how not to flip his switch, so you don't have to end up in a crazy dogfight, or whatever, you know, or this is the moment, like, he likes this kind of drama, you know, you're playing him for his #1 spot, and I feel like whatever his own personal struggles in his own past life, you know, and I'm not condemning him for that, you know, I'm just saying in his own life, like, he gets to get it out on the tennis court by rising to the challenge and just having a sea of people against him and being able to miss all of that storm, being able to say, I did it! You know, that type of thing. Like, he loves that thing. So be aware of, you know, that switch that could get flipped on, you know what I mean? I believe that's the way he was able to make that shot that you found that was just so disgusting at a match point in the U.S. Open, because the crowd had been jeering him. He was down. He likes that crap, you know what I mean? He was like, oh, okay. You know, he was like, all right, I'm going to get y'all. Watch this. You know, so you don't want to, you know, it's not to say, like, be afraid of him. I'm not saying that, because you can handle him. You can take him down. But I'm just saying, like, there's a difference between, you know, not flipping, being afraid of somebody and being tentative, and then just knowing not what switches to flip. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to flip a switch where it's like, oh, okay. Oh, really, Federer? You know what I mean? So there's just a difference. and you know, you definitely just want to just keep him down. You know what I mean? Because he's used to fighting. He's used to, you know, that 5-6 hour match or whatever with Nadal. Like it's all good. He doesn't mind those type of things. And just know, like, if you do end up in like a 5-6 hour match, just keep digging harder than him. You know what I mean? Just keep digging harder and remember to breathe. Roger, because sometimes it just looks like you're not breathing, and when a bad point happens, whether you're mentally sound or you're thrown out of it or whatever, it still seems like you know, you just take a moment when you turn away from the opponent to just, you know, like get that tightness, that sensation, that stagnancy that'll build up, like, because it just doesn't help. It's not going to help having all of that inside and nothing is getting expelled out properly, you know. So just make sure, once you know, when you're walking back to the baseline or whatever, just to make sure that you do take a moment to exhale, or do take a moment to take a big exhale on like every fifth point or whatever. Just make sure you do it in a way that the other person isn't noticing or whatever, or could interpret it in the wrong way. But to get rid of that build up, or just to keep things moving around, you know, or whatever, is going to really, really be of help. So I'm trying to think what else can go on. Yeah, I'm sorry. This is probably the most worst video ever. Yeah, just have a deliberate arsenal. You know what I mean? Number one, boom. What am I going to do really quickly that if I'm down with Djokovic, what can I do to claw my way out? You know what I'm saying? Two, make sure all of your little openings and stuff like that for other people who are looking to exploit those when they need to climb themselves out of trouble against you, like a Benito who was down 40 to love, you know, and was able to bring himself up to deuce. You know, how was he able to do that against you? You know, and you look at it as the backhand serve. You're gonna look at that video. So you've got to figure out, like, it's to close down all of the ways it as best possible. You know what I mean? Maybe you can't work a miracle overnight, but as best possible, make things not work. Like things that people are trying to make work for them against you, make them not work. Like that whole backhand thing. I didn't have time to like look up different strategies against the backhand, but chip and charge, was it? Volleying. And also, I forgot to tell you too, McEnroe said last week against Benito that you probably want to touch up your volleys. I know it's like a little bit late in the game for me to say this to you, but definitely be aware. And then when you're coming to court and when you are coming to net, this is my own personal assessment. Like, you gotta kill that ball. You know what I mean? Like, that whole thing hitting it back to the opponent is just gonna create what is it? It's a passing shot. You know, like, I just believe, like, if you're gonna come to net, you have to make it turn into cash. You know, make it economical. You know what I mean? If you're gonna come to net, like, put something on it. You know what I mean? And hit it away from the opponent. Like, put something on it, because those are the points that are gonna determine, like Djokovic and Nadal says, the few little points that makes the winner, you know, that fine line between the win and the lose between superior player, like, elite players, like the three of you, you know. So just really, it's that's what it's about, Roger. Just knowing the difference of really, not just keeping your game error free, which you've been really good at doing, as error free as possible, but really just making those shots really return that dividend. Like, you need that point, you know what I mean? So it's got to be like a little bit more deliberate, you know, like your whole strategy doesn't have to be like all mechanical and rote. Oh, let me play every point. Let me think. Let me make sure. Oh, this is coming over to the left. Let me employ move number 23. You know, or whatever. I'm not saying like make tennis really boring, but just to kind of you know, input a loose but a framed structure, a strategic structure that's going to carry you through. Like, have an emergency plan. Like, oh, Djokovic is up and we're in a tie break. God forbid you're in a tie break. But I'm just saying, like, How can I get some cheap points? You know what I mean? Like, map that out tonight and just have that. Like, look at these videos and take this all in. Like, how do I want to make him pay when he has me on the run? You know, look at the Ryan Harrison video. You know, how do I want it to be able to hold my serve after I break Djokovic? Look at the Monfils video. How do I want to attack really well? I believe that was a Tsonga video. Take a look at the Tsonga video. You know what I mean? And, you know, all those videos are way shorter than this one. So, you know, just good luck. Keep up the good fight. And I'm just going to get going because I just feel like, yeah, I don't really have much else to say. This is really disorganized. But, yeah, all right. So I will read off some things from lastly end with this. Dubai 2011. Federer couldn't apply pressure to Djokovic's serve. Dubai 2011. Serb took advantage of Federer's increasingly errant backhand to break again for 5-3. To break again for 5-3 by just serving to the backhand, serving to the backhand, serving to the backhand. Yay! We know what to do against Federer to pull out the win. And then we can get all of these grand slams, and then people will try to say I'm the greatest of all time. No. Anyway, so, yeah, so just be aware of that. Really beat yourself. You know what I mean? When I say beat yourself, I mean sit down tonight and go, how do I beat Roger Federer? And just really close off all those opportunities. Federer doesn't like to run. Federer likes to hit winners. If you hit the ball deep, he can't do that, and he gets frustrated. He hates the crowds. When the crowds get involved, you know, throws him off mentally. Then he starts completely checking out of the game. Like, look at those things, you know, that's just data. You know, that's not a negative thing. It's just data, and just shut all of that down to the best possible so people can't exploit it. You know what I mean? Give them no don't feed them, don't give them any fuel, don't give them any reason to be able to economize. Like, if you just shut that down. So that's the first thing you want to do. Shut down that. The next thing you want to do is absolutely exploit them. Figure out cheap ways to exploit them. Figure out the overall way, playing them straight up to exploit them. Figuring out the get out of jail card. Figure out the aggressive way to exploit them and break point and to keep really economizing off all of your work to grab 3 break points, like to get that 4th and then turn it over into break point conversion. You know, you're going to do that by watching some of these videos, and you're going to already know a lot of these answers, but you're just going to really realize, like, hey, I need to just apply this here, and this is what I need to do when he decides to impose his will. This is how I'm going to disarm him, so I'm going to throw him off, so I'm going to make things inconvenient with him. And finally, like, if you're not, you got to be okay with all this. You got to be okay with throwing Djokovic off his game. You got to be okay with if it calls for that extra violence in tennis where it's me or you. You got to be okay with that, because otherwise the other person's going to impose that existing violence in tennis, and then you'll be on the wrong side of the win, the side of the win that you don't want. So, yeah, I feel like I probably made my point here. And I'm just wishing you good luck. Look, I know you can do this, but it's just about, I think, really having those systems in place and figuring out as someone else is sort of maybe trying to pull away in a match, like, never let them pull away. Like, keep points close and make sure that you are aware of every moment of the first set. Like I said in my other video, you don't want to end up like playing like as a little kid, like you're in the ocean and you're playing for hours, and then next thing you know, you're like really, really far out, even though the water isn't deep. Like, the tide is just gradually pulled you out. And that's kind of like the way the first set is. It's kind of like something like, hey, I need to be aware. Like, listen, we're in the 6th game. Like, I need to do something here. You know what I mean? Maybe take that set, and then in the second match, go into the 8th game, and then break a serve. And if you break a serve, probably in the second set, this is my own just thinking, like, you break the serve like a little bit later in the second set, that'll be less intensity for you to hold on. And then you've got to really turn it on in the 3rd set. just really bring out the arsenal, bring out everything that's going to throw him off, turn it on in the third set, because that's where you're going to get that most kicking and screaming and fighting and clawing and punching and everything, and it's going to feel like the kitchen sink is thrown at you. But then you're going to know, like, hey, it's like how you're going to convert that data. Like, I'm doing something right. I'm all over this kid. You know what I mean? So you just stay in there, and then you can close out the third set. You can close it out. Like, just put some strategy into it. Like, just take my words, put some strategy into it, and that's that. And good luck. I know you can do this. I know you can totally do this. Like, this is yours. And if you feel you're mentally strong as well, like, I meant to say something the other day, because I'm, like, saying, oh, you're doing really well, and I feel like your mental game is locked up, but the time to even lock down further in your mental game is when you're doing well. I should have said that the other day. When you're doing well, lock down in your mental game. So, yeah. That's it. Good luck. Tons of luck. I'm not worried. I'm going to be watching the match tomorrow. I am. I'm going to be watching. Is that the right hand? Yeah. I'm going to be watching the match tomorrow, so good luck with that, because I have the day off, so I actually get a chance to watch it. Good luck. I know you can do it. If it becomes a long match, just remember, like, you're going to need those moments where it's a get out of jail free card, so you're going to have strategy in place once again. What can I run on Djokovic to get some good points? And know if you're coming up to net, like, you have to put everything away, Roger. You cannot flicking the ball and all of that crap. I'm sorry, but it's going to get chased down, and the point is going to go the other way. Like, you have to put away every single thing. And if you can go more intense on your serve, if your back is okay, you can go more intense. Like, your, I think you call it clutch serve. This is awesome. Like, if you can get in the intensity of when you rattled off your clutch serve, and, like, just serve like that, like, I'm talking about just for this particular match, like, even serving better than what you really do, like, taking that extra focus on the serve and taking that extra moment to focus when Djokovic is serving to you, because that's just going to be, less time when Djokovic is serving to you, that he's going to be running you around and stuff like that. And when people have you on the run, like I said, I feel like it's just kind of like a get the ball back thing with you. And looking at Ryan Harris's video, you're going to see a couple of moves that you already know, but things to keep in mind to how to turn that offense, that high offensive pressure coming from the other side, and just convert that into a kick-ass defense that's going to win you that point. Because remember, you need to economize every single play with him tomorrow. Do not screw around. And when I say that, I'm not saying, like, run down every ball. That is an obvious given, of course. You're going to go after every ball you can. But what I'm saying is take that extra moment to serve harder. Take that extra moment, like the other day I said with Benito, when you hit that ball down the left straightaway. Like, that was a clear, like, that should have been a winner, but it didn't have enough speed on it. Like, take that extra moment to just put that speed on it, instead of causing you what it did, which is 3 extra plays and a lost point on top of all of that. And then, so therefore, a lot of wasted energy that doesn't go in the direction of something benefiting you physically or even point wise. So just think of those things. Have a little strategy in place. Have little time markers for yourself. I know you probably don't like this kind of stuff and probably is boring, but this is how matches, this is what other guys are doing, I'm sure. Like a little bit of, okay, you know what if I get down against Federer? What the hell am I going to do to claw myself out again, Serve to the backhand, So, because I know after a while he's going to make errors off the backhand or whatever, or he's going to overhit, he's going to over-return or whatever. So you've got to beat them at their own game and create an exit strategy for yourself, a get-out-of-jail card strategy. What plays are you going to employ? Like, just when those moments, or if those moments happen, you have something to go to. And that way it's less likelihood that the mind will end up off in anxiety, because you have something to go to. You don't need to think in the moment. You don't need to sort through, oh my God, I'm down 3 points, about to break me. Like you have those answers right there. So it's like, okay, here I am. Let me just bring him to net, or whatever. That type of deal. Okay, so have those things in play. How many, it's the 6th game in the first set. Like, let me turn it on. Use those videos, okay? Thanks. I'm just going to go, otherwise I'm going to keep rambling on and talking. Good luck. Tons of luck. And I got my London shirt on. And don't let this wet paint, like, create some kind of funny sort of illusion. Like, this is just art. It's not, it's not London falling apart. It's just London and art. Did I even make any sense? All right, thanks. I haven't had a thing to eat today, and it's 2:18 p.m. here, so hence all of this weird talk. All right, good luck with everything. I'm so with you, and I feel confident. I don't feel, I feel very confident that you're going to do this, but just really know that put that strategy in place to take a look at those videos. And if you don't see the videos, definitely come back and take a look, because I'll have the links in by then. Just take a look at the description box. Good luck, Roger Federer. Have a good one. Bye-bye.